Hello, viewer. It's a Sunday, October the 9th, 2022. I am the I am the Mr. Brown, and I trust you are all, I was going to say something else, and I trust you are all very well today. Autumn, best season of the year, has arrived in the Northern Hemisphere, and it's getting chilly, folks. Nobody's going to be putting the gas on in the UK this winter. We are going to be freezing our tits off. Anyway, okay, so today is the musings of the week, folks. So, um, a little bit of Twitter, a little bit of movie news, a little bit of TV, as you do. So, shall we get the guests out? I think we should. We are short of bodies today, and we're up against the drinker. So I'm sure we'll have a good time anyway. So, first, he is a disgruntled film fan who is getting into TV as well. So he's come to the right place. It is the wonderful, the movie cynic. Hello
Hello.
there.
Hello there.
How are you? You all right?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. The cats are not playing ball this evening.
That's what I hear. But I'm here. I made it.
That's all that matters.
I made it. Greetings, Franco.
How's the channel going, my friend?
Well, I need to put something out soon, but because I've been riding off the coattails of my Rings of Power review for about
The
a month
ranks,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, the Rings of Power. But next up, She-Hulk. The remainder of that show is going to have
Nice.
a lengthy one, and then I'll do the rest of the Rings of Power.
Big finale of He Hulk on
She, her Hulk.
They Them Hulk. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So everything going well in life? Yes.
Oh yes, just moved. Well, I moved to Nashville a couple months ago. Moved
Wow.
to a new place in Nashville just yesterday. So if you
Wow.
hear reverb, people, it's because I'm sitting in an empty room with a desk and a laptop.
Echo, echo, echo. Yes. So life sounds great, mate. So you know what my next question is?
Shall we bring out the next guest?
I think we should. Not that there's many, but slightly out of order. Next, he is the wise elder of the channel. You know the rest. He is the great mega geek himself, Ian David Diaz.
Hello, everybody. How
Hello,
are
Ian.
we? Yeah,
Yeah, not bad.
I'm,
You all right?
I'm fine. I just don't like Daniel Craig staring at me. So let's just get on with it, shall we?
Okay, so I know there's quite a little bit of Bondy stuff tonight.
God.
Okay, and last but by no means least, he's back. He's been away. Can you believe this? For more than a year. Where's the time gone? It is the mighty. He's the best looking dude on YouTube. It is Problem Being.
Too kind. Hey, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality, and you're fucked.
Yeah.
Problem
Not the years, it's the
Being.
mileage.
Probby is here, everybody.
Hey. Stop crawling up my arse.
Are you well, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right. Not too bad.
Great to have you back on, mate.
Glad to be back. Thank you for having me on.
Right. Okay. So, end of week musings. Sunday, October 9th, 2022. Episode 95. Jesus. Anyway, okay. So, I think maybe when we get to 100, we'll do something different. We'll see. Mr. Brown Alliance, 1,000 subs are needed if I want to try and make a good go of this YouTube lark, as you do. Okay, so first up, Who's watching Andor?
Nope.
I haven't. I did last episode I saw was 3. Didn't. I haven't seen the. Did they attack the base yet? Anybody?
Matt, have you watched? This is going to go well tonight, folks. I can feel it. I can feel it. Matt,
I'm only to episode 3. Just 'cause the last couple weeks I haven't been able to sit down and watch much of anything.
I don't know why anyone would want to watch it after everything that Disney's done. I just, quite frankly, refuse to watch anything they produce, including Marvel.
Fair.
Don't blame you.
Somebody's watched it. Here we go. Time Profit, hello time. This episode of Andor, where they all sat in a field for ages and chatted.
Really?
Wow.
Is that what they did? Did they not attack the base? Because they were going to attack the base, right?
No, they've got more important things to do, like talk about their feelings.
Feelings.
Nothing more than feelings.
Bloody hell. Wow. Shit, then.
Should we just say fuck it and move on?
Yeah.
Why not? Oh,
Okay.
God, what is wrong with you, Ian? Seriously. One bad show after the next.
I frequently ask myself that. What is wrong with me? I know.
Well, you
Is
know
this the
my
one
answer to this.
Is this the one with Daredevil, by the way?
It was.
It was.
Yeah, I think I've seen it. I saw the clips on YouTube, the stuff that was involved in that episode. Yeah, as I said in the last podcast, Charlie Cox is losing his hair. It's obvious that he is. I don't know how far they can comb that hair in front of his forehead, but
I know that feeling.
but it's going to get worse before it gets any better. Unless he gets Elton John done to him, then he's fine. Do you know what I mean? So
have his armpit hair transplanted on his temples.
Absolutely.
Lee, did you watch it? Are you watching this series?
Well, what does it say? It says Marvel Studios and Disney.
I just thought you'd be the type who would watch it.
I even from the very beginning knew that I was not going to watch this show because I knew it was going to be an absolute shit show. And just looking at the trailer was enough to put me off my dinner, let alone sit there and watch it to any degree. I just think it's quite clear from the offset what it's all about. And I'm not all about that.
Shit writing, that's what.
Shaping men.
And
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
intersectional politics. And it's
I don't even think the writing's that good.
We know it's
How-
not good.
However, I did watch this, and I think this
so
was
sorry.
probably the best episode out of the series, and that's not saying much.
What makes it the best? Like just because Daredevil's presence?
I think I was watching Gary Nerdrotic or a similar channel, and I think he said that
a similar channel to Gary.
Yeah, I can't remember because
Gary's elite.
I'm old. And my thoughts were Daredevil got away with it. Just, he said that somebody high up at Disney probably said to the writers, or pulled rank, "Don't fuck Daredevil up," and I probably kind of got that feeling. And other than the walk of shame, I thought, what's the name of the actor who plays Daredevil?
Charlie
Charlie
Cox.
Cox.
I remember when Daredevil was out on Netflix. I watched the first episode when it was on Netflix, and I thought, okay, it's probably not my thing. So I never watched it after that. But after his performance on this episode, I thought he was quite endearing and brought some good energy. And I thought, okay, I might actually revisit
The Daredevil.
purely on the strength of his performance. Other
Well,
than
the
that, it was
Daredevil
like a shite.
Netflix show is probably one of the best Marvel series ever.
Agreed.
It's really
Yeah.
good. The first season 1 and 2 are really good. So.
That's just the first episode was intense, wasn't it? With
Yeah,
that fight
it
in
was.
the corridor.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, it's a great show, and they treated Daredevil with respect. Apart from a few things they did, which I disagreed with, but apart from that, they did it very well.
This is the week of Walk of Shames for men, isn't it? Because you had a Walk of Shame in this, apparently, and you had a Walk of Shame with the elf in not Lord of the Rings. What's it called? the fake of the thing, of the ring of
Rangs?
the fakery, the power
The
of
rang,
the
the
doctor,
rangs of power.
the ring of the thing.
But I saw the clip on YouTube where apparently the walk of fame. But if you just shag someone as a
Don't
man,
know, it's been a while.
wouldn't you be going yes? Wouldn't you be going yes? I shagged someone. You wouldn't be ashamed of it, would you?
Oh, yeah, I would.
It makes no
shagging
sense.
that thing? Are you sure?
Well, no, actually, I do like the actress. I do like the actress. I don't like the CGI version they do of her, but she's a very good actress. I mean, they've made her look really unattractive in this show, but in the show that she's famous for, she looks fucking awesome. So I don't know what they've done to her here, but anyway, whatever. But why would you be ashamed of just shagging someone? And why would you be ashamed of that? Why would you walk out feeling ashamed? You wouldn't,
because
would you?
men must feel shame 24/7 nowadays.
Yeah, no, it's just stupid writing. That's all. And stupid feminist rubbish.
Matt, do you feel shame 24/7?
Well, I'm told I should, but no. I've been following, so I'm going to watch episodes 2 through, I don't know, whatever episode they're on now, like starting tonight, so I can do my review of this.
I think it's 7 or 8. I think it's 8.
Yeah, it's been fascinating just watching the I don't know, the public outcry in defense of this show from, I don't know, all 10 people that really enjoy it. It's like I got in some sort of I wouldn't say an argument, but some sort of debate in a comment section. So I clicked on an article and it was about, I don't know, the latest episode where it wasn't the Daredevil subject. It was like when Jen apparently sees, what do you call it? I don't know. Like it was a tape of her having sex and she
Doomcock.
and she just loses her mind. And it was like in defense of that. And someone was like, well, it's the show pointing out, a meta commentary of the incel culture that hates the show. And I was like, well,
Doomcock.
Yeah. I was like, well, I see this a lot of just pointing out how stupid your show is doesn't make it clever now.
But aren't the women writers of this incels? I mean, who'd be shagging them anyway? I mean, quite
that's a true story.
Bitch.
I think it's a fair game.
Hitting hard. I think you're right.
In the chat, I've lost my place now. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Romeo Tango November Zulu at Mr. Brown Alliance. That's me. If you only watch one Daredevil episode, watch season 2, episode 3. Daredevil and Punisher have a moral debate.
That's a great episode.
Amazing fight scenes.
Yeah, Daredevil's really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the Punisher was really quite interesting.
Again, I think I watched the first one, but I just thought...
The last season was rubbish, though. Good fight in the toilet, though, as I recall. But
I think when all that was on, I was actually watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I was quite enjoying that.
I never watched that.
It was all right. I watched all of it. Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, all right. Fair enough.
Okay, so we're still not at the punchline yet with She-Hulk. We still don't know who's pulling all the strings.
Do we care?
It's probably going to be Doom. Well, it's probably going to be Doomcock on the last episode, but anyway, we'll see. Anyway, so
but nothing matters after Loki, knowing that everything it's not fate, it's everything is being drawn out. So nothing really matters. What's the point of the whole of the MCU?
Nothing
What's the point?
really matters.
Just so they can lecture you. That's it.
It can't be a good lecturing. Okay, so I think we're going to do end of series roast. So I'm going to watch. Yeah, I'm going to watch it on.
Yeah, put it on a fire and roast it.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it on Thursday. I'll do a few screen grabs of the last episode, and I'll throw some invites out, see what happens. Okay, so we'll move on. Ooh.
Yeah,
I'm not watching this. I can't really comment on it at all. I don't know why you keep bringing this up. I mean, it's obvious nobody watches it.
Yeah, it's a joke on a joke on a joke. I mean, I find it the most hilarious thing is when they called people who didn't like this show fascist adjacent. And I'm thinking this is coming from $1 trillion state-approved corporation. I mean, state and corporation stifling freedom of speech and othering people as being evil sounds pretty fascist to me, adjacent or otherwise. So
Yeah.
I think the whole thing stinks to high heaven, frankly.
You're not bitter though, are you? Probably.
Not at all. No.
Have you
No,
watched any of
should be.
this?
Why on earth would I? Any self-respecting Englishman would never watch this. This is an absolute abomination, frankly, to English culture. And this was supposed to be a new mythology for the mythology that was lost in England. During the invasion of the Anglo-Saxons, and then later on by William the Bastard. So, frankly, this one thing that is ours, the only thing that really truly belongs to us has been absolutely defiled. I'm not here for that.
In the chat, the wonderful Tim's Talk, hello to me. I stopped watching after episode 3. Oof.
Braver than me.
I'm not watching it at all.
Matt,
I am going to watch. So I watched the first 3 and did the review of it, and I'm going to watch all of She-Hulk and all of Rings of Power in the next couple of days, and it's just going to be fucking hell. I put up a poll on my channel, and I 1.7 thousand votes so far. They've said She-Hulk is the worst show between the two to a 71 to 29% vote, but Rings of Power is more of a travesty because of the disservice it's doing to Tolkien. I think that makes sense.
I think
objectively, She-Hulk objectively worse, but Rings of Power pisses more people off.
Yeah, but look at all the money they've spent on Rings of Power.
It looks to me like, when you set up one of those sort of sock businesses to launder money or launder drug money. That's what it looks like to me. I can't see that money on any of the stuff that I've seen of it. Maybe they spent it on the music score. I don't know, or maybe they spent it
on the white powder.
I know where the money went. The money went on paying to the shills in the media with all the champagne and free stuff.
As far as I understand, right, they've, obviously there are lots of financiers that put money into these films that Prime is making. So to avoid the tax, I guess they have to spend X amount of money. So they've literally poured a lot of money into this show. So they, just to keep the, if they don't, then they'll end up paying a lot of. I'm guessing here a lot of tax.
This is a tax write-off. This is like extremely damaging for their brand. I just don't know what would be worse: getting a fine for tax evasion or having your company destroyed from 5 seasons of this guff.
Well, they obviously don't think this is going to damage their brand, do they? But they actually believe in this stupid agenda, don't they?
Be a $1 trillion company and be that stupid.
Well, it's
the tax man off.
Somebody told me, a friend of mine who lives in LA told me that everyone he's spoken to, he knows a lot of stars. Everyone he's spoken to, they are living in this bubble where they think that this kind of thinking about making films and stuff like that is the right way to go. And also, even though people are not happy with this, they're going to actually push it into existence, that people will accept it in the end.
They're curing cancer, though, aren't they, with this?
They're saving lives.
Yeah.
Curing cancer.
But that's the thing, you see, it's really hard for us to believe that these people actually believe this. They actually do. They actually believe they're better in the world by putting this crap out.
Do you think they're all Scientologists, perhaps? Maybe that.
Not all of them.
Tom wouldn't put that shit out.
No, that's true. It's funny that, isn't it?
But did you see
one person who's actually in a cult produces the best work?
Yeah,
I mean,
but the best. Yeah, I know.
But did you see the last the Oscars that was after the pandemic, when the pandemic was almost clearing? If you saw that Oscars, you would just laugh because they all believe in what they're doing. From the black presenter talking a load of bollocks to the other, the trans whatever person accepting an award and stuff like that. They all really believe that this is the best thing to do. And that's what my friend was telling me in LA. as he says, they've all been drinking the Kool-Aid, whatever Kool-Aid is. I don't know.
Kool-Aid, yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
but at least
so
the people who drank Kool-Aid in that cult had the decency to die.
yeah, I guess.
I'm going back on what Ian said. I'm the white presenter talking bollocks. Moving on. Okay, in the chat, Mephisto, hello Mephisto, at Mr. Brown alliances me. You might want to consider giving a shout out to a Vikings TV series instead of watching this.
Well, Vikings
Whatever
went
this
woke.
is.
I mean, that
Oh,
whole
did it?
thing with the shield maidens, complete
Oh.
nonsense. Like,
How the fuck?
oh, and then they brought back a new series, didn't they? They made one of the historical kings of Kattegat, a black woman. It's just like, can we just stop? And you know, history is history, whether you like it or not. At least be fair, present it as it was. Because if you're not only rewriting European history, but you're also denying the actual suffering of actual black people in history.
But you know, the BBC has this policy that they believe that they should change history to make this generation.
There's a term for it. It's called presentism.
Yeah. So basically,
new
that's
term.
so the BBC is operating that way. So anything they do in history, if the actual history is not right for today's standards, they will change it. And they will say that they've changed it for the betterment of humanity.
Oh, you mean like that movie, The Woman King?
That's right. Absolutely.
Hashtag defund the BBC.
Yeah. When is Tom Cruise going to play Malcolm X?
Well, I want to play Wonder Woman. When's my fair shout? You know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What is it? Somebody said on one of these streams that Charlie's Angels should be brought back with men. You know,
yeah, they did. Yeah, it was our stream last week. Yeah,
there you go. That's a good idea, I reckon.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre that they think this kind of stuff speaks for whoever they want to speak for, which would be, you know, women or black people. And the person that was hooking up our internet in the new place the other day was a very nice gentleman, and he was black. And the reason I say that is just because of the fact of he brought up like Rings of Power, and he's like, I am so fucking tired of this woke shit. And that's like really, like literally out of his own mouth. He's like, I'm so tired of this woke shit. I don't need a fucking black elf. He's like, everyone loved Lord of the Rings. I fucking loved Lord of the Rings. I don't need this.
Wow.
Yeah. And as you had said, Mr. Brown, like I'm living in kind of America now. And that's true. Like it's, you know, what they're in their own bubble, and they don't understand that they don't speak for everybody, but they somehow think they do.
That's exactly what they do. They think they speak for everyone. They think they are the authority in the world.
Authoritar.
It's sanctimony, isn't it? It's pure sanctimony. It's people sat in their ivory towers going, well, from here, this is how we look at it, you plebs, you know, and if they think they're doing us a favor, educating us because they're so wizened. And
the most disappointing thing for me is Lenny Henry, because before all this shit started, Lenny Henry was definitely on a crusade to get more black people behind the camera and in front of the camera.
That fucker sold out.
And he really did push, and he actually achieved a couple of things at the BBC. But now it's gotten to the point where he's literally bent the knee for this crap, and he doesn't realize what he's doing is he's actually not making it better for black actors on screen, because they're getting hand-me-downs all the time. They don't want to create new characters for black actors at all. You can see that. It's plain to see.
He hasn't been the same since Dawn French stopped shagging him.
maybe you're probably right there.
In the chat, Mephisto's RC's and Mr. Brown Alliance, that's me. I believe you misunderstood. There was a Vikings TV series with Roger Lothbrok.
Ragnar.
Ragnar. I know the series, mate. Yes, I know it. Don't worry. Okay, so one more episode to go, and then thank fuck it's over for a year.
No, it'd be over for 2 years because a minimum of 2 years. It could be even 3 years because they have to redo everything. They have to move everything to.
Well, shit.
England.
What's Gary going to be talking about then?
Everything else will be forgotten. Forgotten memory. I'm sure there'll be production things popping up that will be a sort of amusement as we go along. But I don't know. this is in serious trouble. I think they know it too.
Of course they do.
No, it's not good, is it?
Well, it didn't
The
start
one
off
thing
very well, did it?
the one thing you don't fuck up. Anyway,
Hello.
moving on.
Too late.
Hold on.
Oh god. I mean, I'm not watching this, but
I'm
I
not
hear
either.
I hear it's
Are you
really
watching
good.
it?
But
I
don't know.
am. This is one thing I am actually watching.
Was it
and I
good?
didn't think I'm not as enthusiastic about it as all their sort of major channels are. It's been a bit of a plod. A lot of the characters I just find really just unlikable. There really isn't much to sort of latch onto. I mean, the political intrigue is quite interesting. The dragons are great. It looks good. Obviously, there are some weird casting choices that just really don't make any sense. Again, because of all the wokery, but you can sort of kind of gloss over that, but it still takes you out of it a bit because it's, you know, it's supposed to be medieval Europe in fantasy land, Westeros, but it's the same thing with Lord of the Rings, really. But it's interesting. I'm waiting for it to kick off. It hasn't really. It's been building a bit. It's been a season building and building and building, and the tension is building up and all that. So you do get a lot of that, but it's been such a slog. But I do appreciate the quality of the writing at least, and the dialogue is actually good and interesting. Just wish the characters could be a bit more, not necessarily likable, because you know you never really attach yourself to a character in the Westeros, because you know eventually they're going to be killed off anyway, usually. But yeah, I mean it's still enjoyable. I still tune in eagerly. I mean it's going to be on tonight, so I'll be tuning in to watch it later.
And what better time to bring it out at the same time as Rangs?
Yeah, deliberately coming out about a few weeks earlier, wasn't it? And that really sank them, I think.
The mighty Geralt, I like saying that, Geralt of trivia, still not watching this. Matthew's not. Oh, yeah, Matt, you're not watching this.
I am not. I don't. Yeah, it'll be years before I catch up with all that stuff.
Here you go. Matai, is it Matt 1?
Matai.
It's awesome. Must watch TV. Okay, Matt.
It's good to see some quality writing and good
is writing
production.
Quality, yeah?
The writing is good. The quality of the production is good. The film, cinematography is really good. CGI is really good. The acting is very good. As I say, there are just a few sort of bits and pieces in there that kind of irk me somewhat, but generally, it is enjoyable. As I say, it's more about the pacing, because it's been such a slow build up. Even the time jumps that they've had in these episodes, and the changing of cast as they've gotten older, which wasn't as jarring as I thought it would be, actually. But I'm still waiting for that kick off when it's really going to take off, and there's going to be all this sort of blood and guts flying everywhere. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. Because you know, watching blood and guts at this point is you start imagining it's, you know,
because this is basically the same people, same writers, production, makeup, you name it, who had, was it 7 or 8 seasons of GOT?
Yeah, I'm sure they got a lot of the season crew, but you know, the writing and the production top tier people are totally different.
Whereas Rangs has got the bad reboot people. Yeah,
people who couldn't get a film going if they tried. Yeah, how to reward failure. Talk about failing upwards, and talk about white male privilege if you really want to think about it. Isn't it ironic that those who talk about representation the most happen to be these white liberal men who talk about white privilege, and they are the exact exemplar of that. It builds the argument for them, you know. But it's just the lack of self-awareness of these idiots, and quite clearly they don't know what they're doing. Really.
J.J. Abrams' missus was behind the Me Too movement, wasn't she? But anyway, okay.
Apparently so.
Yeah, good business.
MC, hello MC, Mr. Brown, that's me. Is it your birthday today? No, it's this Friday.
Bigot.
Okay, so probably you're excited for the rest of the season, yeah?
Excited is a bit a bit too much of a
You're
word.
gonna see it through, yeah.
I'm gonna sit through and hope that season 2 is even more bigger and better. You know,
I'm sure
as I
it'll be-
say,
I'm sure it'll
I've
be
enjoyed
great,
it. I have
I'm
enjoyed
sure it'll
it.
be great. I'm sure it'll be great. Okay.
Yeah.
I watched this yesterday,
Great film.
and I just realised I've always liked Starship Troopers, but I just thought, fucking hell, this is such a good film.
I was going to watch that
with,
recently, actually, and I changed my mind.
yeah, especially with what's going on in the world.
Mm.
This film for me was 20 years ahead of its time, and it was a flop. It bombed.
It was so good. It was a flop.
Nobody watched it. Matt, did you see this when it came out?
I did not, but I am a huge Paul Verhoeven fan, who's
Same here.
the director. Yeah, so I'm surprised. I still haven't finished it to this day, but of no reason like for any dislike of the movie at all.
You've not watched it fully.
I really haven't. I know, and I've heard all about it. I know that it's in that Paul Verhoeven vein where it's somewhat satirical and commentary, which I have no excuse. I need to go and watch it. I'm a huge RoboCop fan. Yeah,
Same
like
here.
it's
I
one of
love
my
it.
favorite movies ever.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
I will say to everybody in the chat, if you search Starship Troopers on the YouTube search, there is a 4K copy floating around on YouTube, and it's
Really?
fucking. I watched it yesterday. It's fucking fantastic. So yeah, Ian, do you like this movie?
I do. I saw it when it was released. I liked it. There's not much to say about it, really. Let's face it. Apart, it's got some really funny moments in there, especially commentary on how the Americans are and stuff, just like RoboCop had.
Yeah.
And it's got my mate in it, Michael Ironside. So what isn't there to like? Do you know what I mean? Very violent, very silly.
Michael Ironside, fucking hell.
Special effects were really good.
So good
for the time as well.
I think they still
They're
stand
still
up
great.
today.
They still stand up now. Bishop Moore, Starship Troopers, great film. It is.
It's
Brilliant.
a good film.
Lee, you're a big fan of this, aren't you?
I loved it. I didn't see it when it came out, but I'd heard so much about it. And I love RoboCop. So watching this was a no-brainer. And the satire is, I love satire anyway, but this was really sharp. So true, And it was a very funny, but also quite terrifying film as well. It's very well.
It's like
balanced.
all men and women are equal. Hence the kind of the shower scene. Nobody even bats an eyelid.
Verhoeven did that in RoboCop too.
Yeah, just totally normal.
Very progressive. Yeah.
But they did that in Star Trek Enterprise, but they obviously had clothes on, didn't they?
Yeah.
Remember that they did that where the guys
clothes on. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, I don't think it was like water. It was some kind of thing that cleaned them, wasn't it?
Plasma or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So interesting. Yeah.
A little bit of Verhoeven trivia that I actually heard on a drinker's stream once was so you remember the scene where Clarence Boddicker comes in to kill Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you fly, Bobby?
Yeah. No, not Bobby.
Leave.
Bob. Yeah, the bitches leave scenario.
Oh, right. Yeah, that bit. Yeah.
So apparently he didn't know in America that was an insult, so he just kept calling them bitches when giving them direction. She's like, "Okay, bitches, you're gonna come over here, bitches." And sit right here. But no one said a word and just kept their mouths shut. But it was so fucking funny.
That's amazing. I love it.
They had to come back and shoot the scene when Murphy was getting shot by the bad guys, and the black guy that does that hysterical laugh.
Yeah.
That was done all on a day because he had no idea how to play the character. But when he started laughing, Paul Verhoeven said, "Yeah, keep that. Let's keep that. They were kind of making up as they went along.
Oh,
Sorry,
that's so great. It's just iconic, that laugh.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. So, yeah. Crazy,
As I said,
crazy.
I watched it yesterday, and I think other than the kind of CRT monitors, there is just nothing to give this away that it's from 1997. It looks absolutely stunning even now.
How does the CGI hold up?
Well,
It does hold up, but it's still obviously the
Phil Tippett was fantastic in this.
It's great.
Feature.
what do you call it? The bugs. They kind
Yeah.
of look very. They kind of look a bit computerized, like a computer game, like they can do now. But it still looks good. They still look good,
Yeah, and because they're so alien anyway, I mean,
Yeah.
you've got no sort of point of reference really. So I mean, you can kind of get away with that.
Okay.
But I think as well, with the old tube screens as well, you could say, well, in the future, maybe they'll have to use a certain type of technology that's less advanced for detection. I don't know. I'm just making it bullshit up.
Yeah,
But I mean,
Okay, so I will say if you just search on YouTube Starship Troopers, I think the copy I watched, there's Japanese writing on the end of the title as well. So if you select that one, it's just pristine. It's just absolutely fantastic. Okay, so
I'm gonna look that up now.
if you find it, Lee, could you just throw it in the chat, please? Okay.
I will endeavour to. I don't know. Can I?
Yeah, you're a mod, mate. Yeah, you're a mod. Okay. So we're going to do the news stuff now. There's no the Lord is arresting, so we're just going to do the news. Speaking of Starship Troopers, it's going to get rebooted by Sony.
Hasn't anyone got an original bone in their body? Hasn't anyone going to make something new? Why do they keep going back to the well and bringing up all this old stuff? What is wrong with these studios, really? And when they do bring out something new, it's always some stupid agenda-driven rubbish.
At least it's Sony, so there is a possibility that it might be half decent.
Yeah, but why though? Why can't they make something new?
I think the problem is with this, Ian. They should have because the film bombed originally, and for me, it was for me it was a cultural moment for me. I just absolutely loved Starship Troopers. It's just a shame nobody in the States got the satire.
Yeah,
I think this was kind of like an adult Star Wars type for me, and it just didn't happen, which was a shame.
Matt, does Americans get satire?
Yeah.
I always think that too, but
and especially with RoboCop being such a huge hit in the 80s, I mean, that speaks to the fact that we can poke fun at ourselves. And so I really don't know why this one, I think maybe because it's, I remember when it was being advertised and it didn't present itself as such. Like if you were a movie buff and knew Verhoeven, then you could assume that it probably was satirical in nature or had running commentary. But otherwise, like it was presented as an action movie. And I don't remember it being received super well because I think when you go into movies, like, did you guys ever see the movie True Lies?
Yeah.
Amazing film.
Yeah, amazing.
Crazy over the top film.
Fucking great film.
Over the top. But my like for example, a friend of mine who didn't understand that it was a satire watched it and ended up hating it because he anticipated it being more of like, a serious James Bond-esque type of movie. And so I feel like that's what the crowd went in expecting was more straightforward sci-fi, and then it had satire and commentary, and people didn't appreciate it as much. Not until years later, anyway.
Well, with True Lies was a huge success, though, wasn't it? I mean, and also the film was. I remember watching the film with a crowd, and people were just cheering and laughing.
Emily Curtis,
right? That was advertised
over the top.
It was. It was great.
But the example I gave with my friend, he had never seen the ads, or he caught it like way later down the line. So,
right.
Okay.
That fighter jet scene was just insane.
Yeah.
It's so brilliant. So
absolutely love that. I mean, you don't see anything like that anymore.
No, you don't. And I remember when I was in the cinema thinking, how cool was it to have
digital
horse,
as well? That was
a horse and a car and a bike chase, and they go through the hotel with the horse and
Yeah.
stuff, and they go in the lift. And I thought that was really, really quite. Never seen that on film before. They actually tried to outdo James Bond, and I think they did in a
They
certain
did,
way
yes.
in that
Yeah.
film. Yeah.
In the chat, Time Prophet, Mr. Brown, that's me, has now offended all the Americans. I offend everybody, so it's just not the Americans,
That's
mate.
true, I can vouch. He offends me every day.
Yeah, okay. So, as a fan of Starship Troopers, for me, if they want to do this right, you get Casper Van Dien back.
Does he look good now?
Yeah, he's all right. Same age as me. He looks all right.
It won't be him. It'll be some woman in charge. Lady boss again.
Yeah.
Get Paul Verhoeven to showrun it, and then
He's had it with American.
Yeah, I know, but can
productions.
you imagine if he was to show run Starship Troopers? I would just be,
Yeah, he's had it with the Americans. That's why he hasn't come back. He really can't stand the way.
Maybe get Casper Van Dien to show run it. Just get somebody connected.
I don't
with
see
it,
the point. I really don't see the point of bringing this back at all. I really don't. I think
it is. It's 20 years too late, but
it is, and they should be creating something new. You know, there are a lot of. All I got to do is look on YouTube and see loads of new. There's loads of new stuff on YouTube. As I said, Backrooms, you could easily made that into a film. You know, there are loads of people out there that are far more clever than all of us. In fact, visual effects wise, you know, story wise, for today's generation, that's all they got to do. But they're not, are they?
The cartoon series, the Roughnecks, was excellent for a cartoon.
Yeah.
This is going to go the way of the RoboCop remake. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. The RoboCop remake was terrible because they weren't allowed to do an R-rated film, which if you look at the sequels to RoboCop, that's why it failed, because they took the edge off RoboCop.
And not only that, I think it was too serious. You know, there was none of those sort of sight gags. You know, you know, you have 30 seconds to comply, and you know, and all the sort of corporate fascist kind of connotations in there, which was, again, you know, you got to have that sort of element of satire in there. It's kind of a very dry, tongue-in-cheek kind of humor to all the seriousness of it, which kind of underlies everything. And I think without that, it just becomes so po-faced and serious, and look how edgy we are, and futuristic sci-fi.
I have a soft spot for RoboCop 2. I like RoboCop 2, but I feel like the satire in that one was just really mean-spirited. It didn't have the fun that the original had.
But the thing is, though, what's his name? Frank Miller wrote the script for RoboCop 2, and apparently
Kirshner.
Kirshner directed it, but apparently the RoboCop 2 script was really good until the studio got involved.
Naturally.
And then they kind of butchered it. And then, I
always remember RoboCop 2 being massively disappointed with it, but on the rewatch many years later, not quite as bad.
No, I like RoboCop 2.
It needed the original music, but anyway.
Hollywood's still thinking the same way, right? So basically, RoboCop was a huge success. It was an R-rated. And I think, okay, well, we need to reach a bigger audience. Let's just make it less an R-rated so we can reach a bigger audience. But that never works. It never, ever, in the history of films that are R, and they pulled it down, it doesn't work. It never works. I mean, Deadpool's a prime example of that. It doesn't matter if it's an R rating. Kids are going to see it anyway. They're going to find a way of seeing it.
Yes.
So it's protect the kids. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Not in this day and age.
These people forget when they were kids. I mean, you know, you were running around the age of 7 screaming, fuck. Really?
Still a hot mate.
Yeah. Nothing changed.
Yeah. RoboCop 3 was when they tried to sell it to kids. What a fucking disaster that movie was.
You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for Knight Rider with Michelle Knight.
That'd be interesting.
Okay, so I will say to everybody in the chat, you've got the link for the film. Get it watched, and we'll get it. I think we'll review it.
Do you guys think,
couple of weeks,
because they've got this different universes in Marvel, do you reckon they'll bring back the Hoff as Nick Fury in a different universe? That'd be so cool, wouldn't it?
That would give me a laugh.
The Hoff.
That'd be so funny.
Okay, so let's move on.
Oh God, what is this rubbish?
Big news this week. Obviously, I don't think the graphics quite up to date because she's been race swapped as well. But is it Felma?
Oh, that's so racist.
Velma, yeah.
Racist. Yeah.
Uh,
She likes carpet.
But hold on, what is this? Is this a new cartoon with Velma
Yeah.
as the star?
Yeah, I think there's a. It's on. Is it on HBO?
Yeah.
Isn't Shaggy black now as well?
No,
Yeah, man.
Shaggy's still Shaggy.
No, because
No, he's
No,
Scratch
yeah,
now.
man.
they changed
Yeah,
him.
man.
No, but Shaggy, I can see the picture. Was this
Yeah,
not
but
from the cartoon?
No, because they've now made Velma black as well, but
Oh,
they've
okay,
also
I've-
made Shaggy black as well.
Sorry, boys, I've been corrected. Time Prophet. Velma is not a lesbian.
She shagged Shaggy. Facts. Sorry, true story.
Well, maybe she wanted the real thing.
But did you ever see the live version of Scooby Doo? And the girl that played Velma was freaking gorgeous. She was Hawkeye's wife, wasn't she? In the Marvel films, and when she was in her prime, she was freaking gorgeous. I've seen pictures of her.
I don't even think Scooby Doo's in the new reboot, is he?
No, because they don't want to associate it. Yeah.
Fucking hell. What is the point then?
Anybody
Anybody know?
We could speculate.
Hold on. So
Idiots.
what is this picture referencing to? The woman on the left, is that the new Velma?
No, she's
Well,
new girlfriend of Velma, isn't she?
Oh, okay.
Or she's flirting with Velma. Velma's like all, starry-eyed around her and all this.
Velma is now Indian.
Oh, Indian.
Oh, that's the live action version, is it not? You're talking about?
No, it's there's a HBO. Is it called Velma?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a live action version with the girl that was in Jane the Virgin.
Okay. I don't
She's
care. I don't
playing her.
care anyway. But
No, this
Right.
cartoon has I remember now. Yeah, she's South Asian because the writer, of course, is South Asian. So it's another self-insert because narcissism.
narcissism.
Got to be seen. Oh my god, I got to be seen. Oh, look at me. Look at me. Don't look at me. Look at me. Fuck off.
Bridget Marlowe, Bridget. Velma is not a lesbian. Spelt correctly. Well done. I've seen her in a video. She seemed to really like Willie.
Who's Willie?
Shaggy.
William. It must. I think the critical drinker is William. Yes. Willie, yes.
That explains it. He'd shag anything.
Okay, MC. Cheers, MC. HBO Max just called it a Velma.
Wow.
Oh, is it? Because is it a cartoon or is it real life? I can't
I don't
remember.
care.
Cartoon. Why don't they just call it vulva?
Yeah.
Moving on. Okay. We've not had any Musk news for quite a while. I think he's been effectively forced to buy Twitter.
Maybe it was a part of his long-term gain just to try. Well, I think maybe he tried to sink it first before he bought it cheaper. But
Oh,
they
to
got, "I'll buy it
evaluate
anyway."
it, yeah.
Yeah, but 44 billion to him is just a drop in the ocean, isn't it?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, so
Doesn't
doesn't bother
with
him.
his couch.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think it's a good move as long as it's balanced and people from left and right have free speech, and I think that will be the case. And I think as well, maybe I'll get a chance of getting back.
Yeah, say you'll be allowed back on, won't you?
Yeah, because since I was summarily dismissed for daring to be a gay man that said gay men don't do vagina, and apparently that was too much for Twitter, and I was ousted by a bunch of straight people in drag. Carry on.
String killer. It was amazing when it was announced that he was going to buy it. The first time, Twitter was just beautiful for a few weeks after.
I thought I was going to get back in then.
And then the scourge appeared again when he said, "No, I'm not buying it."
When I first heard his name, I thought it was a perfume. Elon Musk. I really did.
Musk.
Yeah. Musk. Yeah.
The
smell of Elon.
Musk for men. Very manly.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but somebody said, no, it's a guy. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, so let's hope Twitter sorts its act out. Okay.
Please.
Assuming it doesn't go private. Anyway.
Twitter.
Twitter.
Anybody see this?
James T.
Yeah, normally I'm not into kind of like toys.
Models.
I used to have the little the action figure from the motion picture of Captain Kirk and Spock. What's her face with the bald head?
Yeah.
Ilea.
I had the little figurines.
This is 1/6, if I can say it, scale model
It's
of.
not a very good likeness, I have to say.
Oh,
No.
really?
I don't think his
Looks
face
a bit like him.
a little
Just,
bit, but
yeah, just a little bit.
bit more
You-
generic, I'd say.
You wouldn't buy that then, guys?
How much is it?
I think it was if it was either $200 or $600. I can't remember because I'm old.
James T. Kirk.
I don't think it's officially been announced. It was Pappy Robert Meyer Burnett who
Tiberius.
Yeah.
Tiberius Kirk. Yeah.
What's the company producing it? Hot Toys?
It's EXO. EXO. That's the name of the company.
I've never heard of that one before.
I've had a Big Chief and
It's a bespoke company. Doing hand. They hand paint all of them apparently.
Yeah, typically those ones go when they're new. 1/6 scale figures go for like 300 to 400.
I do like those uniforms though. I love the motion picture uniform.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
A lot of people don't like it. They say it looks like pajamas, but
I like it.
I like it. I think
it's a great uniform. That is.
They look less like pajamas than, let's say, Next Generation, which definitely are pajamas.
Yeah.
Quite honestly.
MC in the chat. I had the 12-inch Kirk. Ooh,
That's what
from Star Trek motion picture.
All right, Tiger.
Excellent.
There's always one. Here we go. Matt, I enjoy Robert Meyer Barnett. He's got great hair. He's very good.
Yeah.
And Time Prophet don't know shit. Anyway, okay, so. Here we go then. So let's move on. So I'm quite tempted to buy one of those.
What are you going to do with it? Where are you going to stick it?
I'm just going to look at it.
Wow.
I'd need to build like a 500-foot enterprise for it to go inside. I'm a bit OCD when it comes to things like that. So okay.
At the UK Forbidden Planet store, they have a huge a Next Generation Enterprise hanging. I'd love to buy that. I'm assuming it's not for sale. But when you see stuff like that, you just think, oh god, that'd be great in my living room. Or do you know what I mean?
I want a life-size TARDIS out on my porch.
Yeah.
Like $3,000 a piece. I'll maybe later.
I've been told by MC I need to birthday treat. We'll see.
It's not a bad idea.
Captain Kirk, isn't it? Anyway, moving on.
Matt's comment. Thanks for not blocking me from the chat for mentioning R&B.
Who says it's just data?
I don't think I can block a moderator, or can I? Anyway, moving on. Okay, this is Brent Spiner. I saw this on the Twitter this week. Him as the master.
Oh, yeah.
What do you reckon?
Is he going to be the master?
Probably not.
Bit too old. Like, I mean, okay, so was Derek Jacobi.
Jacobi, yeah.
Fantastic.
Matt, are you a Doctor Who fan?
No.
Don't blame me.
Look at you.
Anyway.
Ian, are you a Doctor Who fan?
I'm a fan, but not the Jodie Doctor. No, never a fan of that rubbish. And Sylvester McCoy I don't like as well.
It's all coming to an end.
Yes!
This evil woman is leaving, and then we've got
but
gay wank.
Yeah, but Lee, I got the feeling that and I've said this to Dan already. I got the feeling that Doctor Who is done.
I think so.
When Russell T comes back, do you think do you really think he's not going to include the agenda?
Do you see that he wants to make the whole next season about bloody climate change?
Yes, climate change. I think it's deader than my sex life, to be fair. So that's it. So
I don't think Doctor Who should have anything to do with people's sex or anything like that, because it
So
never was
Norwegian
about that
blue.
at all.
No,
Yeah.
it was
It's
a loose
never-
draw. I mean, the Doctor wasn't even a romantic lead. That's what
Yeah, exactly.
the Doctor said. That's what set the Doctor apart from
Yes.
all other lead characters. He wasn't
Mm.
a romantic lead. He was a aloof drawer. He was just, this guy who was just off on adventures, and that was it. No,
But the thing
Hank
is,
Frank in the TARDIS. And,
the thing is, they have done it. They've done it with Rose, and that's it. Just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Let's just move
nothing
on
more.
from there. They did, but they still kind of
well, then
tried
they
to
brought
link
it back
them.
with the Phasmin thing, and it's just like
Yes, they have. Yeah,
just-
Yes.
not
because they can.
Yeah, because it's been done before, because Tennant did it, and because RTD
Mm.
did it, and it's
Mm.
just everything about this era just stinks of plagiarism, frankly.
Well, it was upgraded, to be fair, wasn't it? Upgraded. MC, climate change, yawn.
Mm.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. The mighty Sean the Bus. I think he's telling us.
It was correct.
Shouting. He's shouting. He's
He's
shouting.
But he is
Capaldi,
correct.
fantastic Doctor.
But the problem is that the woke stuff was creeping in a lot into the Capaldi era. So.
Yeah, we timelines aren't obsessed with gender like you lot. Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, it's terrible, isn't it?
Really bad.
Ian,
Ian,
you hopes you. I'll start again. You are hoping Jodie has a very, very violent and painful death.
I hope so.
I do as well. Yeah.
I hope she gets her head chopped off or something like that. That'd be really cool.
Amazing. Can you imagine rolling along the TARDIS floor?
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
I'd cheer. I'd be, yes, yes, yes.
and then as it rolls across the floor, they play football with the head. That'd be excellent, wouldn't it?
The Daleks.
It'd be like the young ones when he loses his head on the the train. Vivian.
You bastard.
You took your time, you bastard. Anyway, okay, moving on.
Ecky Thump.
Oh, these two, the guys that were responsible for the rings of rubbish.
I mean, just looking at it makes me cry soy, Here's soy.
The thing, I don't know about you, Matt, but just looking at that, just knowing they are saving lives, yes.
No, I've this
saving lives, folks.
article is what made me want to wrap up with another video of Rings of Power.
Have you read it?
Pissed me off. No, I've watched a number of streams dissecting it. I didn't want to. I should sit and read it myself, but it pissed me off pretty thoroughly. The fact that they generalized and just essentially called anyone who criticizes this show evil is
Patently evil.
Fucked up. It blew my mind. I mean, because the vast majority of criticism about this, because they went directly after the race baiting complaints or whatever. I haven't heard a single real human being actually complain about that. It's the quality of the actual show that people complain about, or the breaking of the lore, or any of that. But all the nonsense, the shield they use, the woke shield, as it were, of racists hating the show is such fucking bullshit.
Well, I mean, you look at the House of the Dragon has a diverse cast, and because people were willing to look beyond that because of the quality of the writing and the actual show,
saving lives.
That argument doesn't fly. It doesn't fly. So it just goes to show what a bunch of desperate wank fucks they are.
The thing is, though, no matter what we say, all of us, these two here are literally thinking that they are changing the world.
They're better than
and everybody that's
curing
behind
cancer,
them,
mate. They're curing it.
Yeah, everyone behind them also thinks the same. As I said, my friend was telling me that you think it's a joke. You think there are people in the heart of Hollywood that thinks this is a load of bollocks. Majority of them thinks that this is the way they're teaching the world how to be a better place.
They say
spreading over here.
They're raising people from the dead. That's how amazing they are.
Yeah, no.
Matt, would you care to read another Matt's comment, please?
Sure. Oh, look, two cunts on the cover of the Hollywood Reporter.
Now, as an American
you.
in England, you're not supposed to say that word.
No.
You can be polite. Say,
He's a big boy,
I
is Matt.
spelled it Qunt. Light way.
Cunts.
I pull no punches.
Supposed to say wankers instead of that C word.
Gary reckons they're not going to be there after season 2. Yeah, he reckons they're going to be not here.
Well, who cares? I mean, I'd be pretty surprised if people carry on watching this show.
Who are you going to replace them with? Another bunch of fuckwits anyway, so who cares? It's too late. I mean, a whole season, you can't really bring it back from. I mean, they've already ruined their reputation. They've ruined absolutely any interest in this show. It's tanking, and that's just.
But they won't admit it.
Wanking. Tim Hannibom. They have future jobs at their local garden centre. I don't think they'd employ them, mate.
What happened to Dan and Dave? What happened to their Star Wars film? What happened to their Star Wars film, Dan and Dave? No thanks. They've disappeared. It would be the same for these two, undoubtedly. Good riddance.
Look at them all dressed in black, thinking they look cool.
Yeah, because they're in mourning for their career.
Stealing my look.
MC, see you next Tuesday. Indeed, mate.
Yeah. What a load of old bollocks, eh? Seriously.
I think this is a great example here.
What's that?
The new Hellraiser movie came out. I don't know if you guys caught that on Hulu or anything. Well, it was I watched it last night and it was okay. I didn't think it was amazing by any stretch, but apparently, there was a little bit of controversy because they made the lead antagonist Pinhead into a female this time after 8 straight films of a legendary performance. But the thing is, they didn't. Right, a surprise. There were some things there where the lead antagonist ended up being the white guy or whatever. But all the same, apparently the lead that played Pinhead is a transgender person.
Yeah, they were insensate,
of course.
Right, but they didn't advertise it as such. They didn't push it. They didn't that wasn't in the marketing. I didn't even know that
because trans women are real women, didn't you know?
Apparently,
I don't even have a problem with that though. It's
in the books, it's supposed to be that the character is androgynous or intersex. So why didn't they cast an intersex person? If they're going to play the woke game, then why didn't you cast someone who's intersex, someone who's born with both genitalia?
Right. Well, the character did come off androgynous this time for sure. But I was using it as a comparison to this, where the Rings of Power. That's what the advertisement essentially was look at the diversity we're bringing to Middle Earth. Whereas with Hellraiser, they just did it. And it's cool. I really didn't.
Where it belongs. It doesn't belong in Tolkien's, Middle Earth, which is an allegory. Well, he just says he doesn't like allegory. But I mean, what is Middle Earth? It's an allegory for England, really. So, I mean, I guess that is the only sort of allegory that should be there.
Again, I'll point out the obvious. What they're doing, they're not creating shows for the LGBTQ whatever and people of color, then and gay people. They're not doing that at all. What they're doing is they're taking something that's been established and destroying the canon, and just to push all this stuff in there. People of the LGBTQ persuasion and people of color should be completely upset about this. They should really be up in arms about this, saying, why haven't you created shows for us? But they're not.
Where's the film
they don't care.
Where's the film about the Anansi stories or African mythology and gods and all those wonderful stories that are never heard of? You don't hear any of these. I mean, I heard that we're finally getting a film or TV adaptation of the Mahabharata, the Indian mythology, which I'm fascinated by that story. I want to see. Why am I not seeing? And hey, if the Mahabharata doesn't have white people, it's not diverse. I'm sorry.
My biggest question, my biggest question is, why haven't they brought Shaft as a TV show? Why haven't they? Because Shaft is one of the biggest biggest black characters to come out of the 70s.
But
that's what I'm saying.
Fantastic. Or the movie.
Well, they only did it with Sam Jackson, but now it's time for someone new to step into those shoes and bring that character back to life. But they're not going to do that, are they? Because they'd
in-
rather destroy something that's been around
in
for
the
50
chats,
years.
Romeo, Neil Gaiman wrote a book about Anansi,
Anansi,
cultural
Spider
appropriation.
Goddess. Yeah, I mean, it's the same Neil Gaiman who said that Batman wouldn't be Batman if he wore a yellow trench coat and whatever else he said, and then went off and betrayed the very words he said in a deleted tweet, because it came back to bite him on the ass when he chose to change the casting of the Sandman, and that isn't coming back for a second series, by the way. So these people have to learn the hard way. It's okay, fair enough, that was his choice to do that, but he threw his long-term fan. I mean, I've been reading the Sandman comics since the 90s, and I felt it was a betrayal of I've been waiting all those decades to see it on the screen, and then it's not recognizable. I mean, it's not just the fact that they race swap death, but it's the fact that the Sandman wasn't a pasty faced, white-faced guy with like stars for eyes. He didn't really see his eyes, just saw the shadows. But it was just so BBC-ified. It was just really tame. I don't know how else to put it, but it was.
Here you go, folks. In the chat, the mighty Jacob Ironside. And when they do anything about Africa, they pick one of the slave trading tribes and turn them into heroes.
Yeah,
and they pat themselves on the fucking back about it.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they've done.
Okay. So, shall we move on?
Moving on.
Channel favorite. I saw this because it's been the 60th anniversary of James Bond, the 60th of Doctor No this week, and this popped up.
Well, it's the 60th of Doctor Who, but just like James Bond, it's dead.
Our channel favourite in the middle, Anna the
Sexy. Just call her Anna the Sexy, because she is quite sexy. So just call her that.
I'm assuming this is from No Time to Live.
Past Wind. No.
No Time to Pass Wind. Very good.
She was the best thing in that film, wasn't she?
She was indeed. She was gorgeous as well. What's the story on this then?
I think they were just doing the kind of publicity junket, as it were, because of the 60th. So they were throwing out lots of pictures and this, that, and the other.
Right.
And just purely because it's Anna de Anus.
Anna de Anus. I think she's gorgeous. I think she's going to be a huge star if she carries on the way she's carrying on. She did
the right parts for that don't make her like a man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she did a fantastic performance. Wouldn't be surprised if she was nominated for an Emmy for her performance as Marilyn Monroe in Blonde. Because
we hated
great.
that film, though, didn't
that
we?
film
We
sucked,
hated it.
but she was really good in it.
Yeah, she was fantastic, but such a betrayal of Marilyn Monroe person.
Absolutely.
Absolutely disgusting.
Matt I, or is it Matt 1? Oh my god. Anna de Armas is so in hot.
Yes.
She is.
She is indeed.
Make me turn. There you go.
Fit as fuck. Right, okay. Fit as a butcher's dog. Anyway, okay.
Wow. Okay.
I saw this on it was on Amazon. I watched it, but I speed through the bits when they were talking about No Time to Destroy James Bond film. I sped through those things. Also sped through Sam. What's that guy's name? Sam, the one who's saying.
Sam.
Because I hate him. I just don't like him. His voice is irritating. Smith. That's it. And that song's got to be one of the worst James Bond films. Yeah.
Smith.
I'm a they them.
Yeah. So
fuck off.
Was he the one that was crying during the lockdown?
Oh, probably. Was it everything?
Yeah, because he had it bad. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. God. You're a gay bloke. Get over it.
But the stuff they were talking about, like Shirley Bassey and Tom Jones and stuff like that, was fascinating, and how John Barry got involved in the whole of the James Bond thing is fascinating. So it's worth a watch. But speed through the crap, basically. And also, I didn't know that they went to what is it? Harry Saltzman hated all the music, every music they
Really?
presented him with. Yeah, he hated it. He hated Goldfinger. He hated Diamonds Are Forever, which is one of the classics. And also, they went to Paul McCartney, and he obviously wrote Live and Let Die without any influence from any other composer. And when they sent it to Saltzman, he says, well, who are we going to get to sing it? And the guy kept saying Paul McCartney, and he kept, no, we don't get somebody else. So he really didn't know what good music was at all. And Live and Let Die is one of the
Fantastic.
one of the best.
Great
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
exactly.
One of my favorites for sure.
Okay, we're obviously not advertising Amazon Prime.
But it's worth a watch if you're
still into Bond. If you're still into Bond, you can watch them all on now Prime, because obviously they own
Amazon Grime.
Yeah.
It honestly is very fascinating how they found. I mean, they spoke to Monty. What's his name? The guy actually credited for the
Monty
Bond
Norman
theme itself. Yeah, but it was John Barry that actually turned it into what we know now. So
I'm friends with a girl who's, I think it was her great grandfather. It's the
James
actual
Bond. Nice.
James Bond. It was that was who it was based on. Apparently.
You know what's really funny? They had an interview with Michael Caine in this, and Michael Caine said that he was sharing a flat with Terence Stamp, and he got kicked out, and he didn't have anywhere to go. And so he knew John Barry, and John Barry offered him a room and said, you could stay at my place if you want. And so he went into the room to go to sleep, but John Barry was composing all through the night, and Michael Caine was saying he couldn't get to sleep because he kept playing the piano all the way through the night. And in the morning he woke up and he went to him, and he was still on his piano, and he said, do you want breakfast? And he said, no, I'm composing. And Michael Caine said after he'd finished, he played it to him, and Michael Caine said, that's fantastic. And so Michael Caine was the first person to hear Goldfinger.
Wow.
The actual the way it was composed and everything. Yeah. He was the first person to hear it. So there you go. That's fascinating.
Okay, so they're obviously doing a big push of James Bond this week, and me being a grumpy old fucker, I had to reply. That's my tweet on the right.
Oh, God almighty. Yeah.
I
agree with you, though.
And you killed him. I'm out after half a century of being a fan.
We all get that James Bond changes his appearance over the decades, and clearly it's not the same person. But you don't really want to see that, do you? You want to keep that kind of mystery.
It's kill him.
Doctor Who saying, "Oh, this is the Doctor Who's origins," and it's no, you don't do that.
But you don't have to explain that, though. No, I mean, the audience knows that somebody else is playing the same character. You don't have to give it a logical reason why that he looks different throughout the decades, because you can't live through the decades. It'd be 150 now, wouldn't he, or something like that?
That's really, James Bond is just the name given to that number.
No, not even that. They should ignore all that. It's James Bond.
I mean, it's implied. It's not explicit. That's what I mean.
No, it's not implied. That's what people are implying now. That's the worst thing about it.
It's inferred then, but it's not. It shouldn't be explicit. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It should not be put on screen. You should not see your main hero die in a franchise like this.
And then expect to go back to watch the next one. They can go fuck themselves.
Yeah, and he's going to be more in touch with his feminine side, isn't he? They've decided that he's going to be respectful of women, and that's not James Bond, then, is it?
No. Well, the thing is, though, if you're a spy and you're good looking, you're a handsome chap,
you're going to die anytime.
You're gonna use your looks to get information out of women that have the information. Same thing the other way around. If it was a beautiful woman and she was a spy, she'd use all her sexuality and her looks to get to the information.
Easier, though, for her.
Plus, with all that, all that excitement, you're living fast and loose, and you could die at any time. You're gonna have all that excess energy, and you're gonna want to play around because hey,
Bishop. No class, no need to kill him off. So un-British.
Quite correct.
Okay, so shall we move on from James Bond to more James Bond?
Roger. Love Roger.
Okay, so literally the fucking 10 minutes later, James Bond will return.
We
And
know
then-
he'll return, but the question is who's going to be playing him,
Mm.
and in what state
Somebody in
are
his
they going to bring
30s.
back James Bond? What state are they going to bring back in? Is he going to be a pussy? Is he going to be James Bond as we know it? Is there going to be gadgets? Are we going to go back to the fun of James Bond and family stuff, or are we going to just go and make James Bond trans or some nonsense?
Anyone
like
who's
that?
seen The Man from U.N.C.L.E. knows who should be playing James
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
End of story.
exactly. Yeah. Shame.
Matt-
Actually, Matt's quite quiet about this.
yeah,
isn't he?
he's just taking it all in, and he's just
I
thinking, "Yeah,
am.
I'm
This
looking
is-
forward to this."
You
He's
guys
American.
are,
He doesn't have a say.
you guys are the hardcore fans. I'm just yep. I am an audience member right now.
Oh dear.
Okay, so as I said, yeah, they've been pushing it this week, and then James Bond will return, and then, as I said, me being a grumpy fuck, killed him. Not interested.
Wow,
Mm.
that's it. So, do you think even if they cast someone like Henry Cavill and they were going to make it all hyper like traditional James Bond, would you go and see it? Or
No,
are you
because
out?
I will never forgive them for me being locked down for God knows how many months and desperate to see No Time to Die, and
I would.
was-
I'd go and see it.
I was relatively okay to the last 10 minutes, and then it's like, what the fuck? And I left that theatre depressed.
well,
And I thought,
for
"You
me-
bastards."
But for me, though, I hated the entire movie because it didn't make any sense. None
Well,
of
no,
what
it
happened
didn't. No, but
in the film made any sense at all. Like, I give you one example. Why did he let the little girl go? Why did Saffron, whatever his name is, let the little girl go? He said, "Oh, you don't like me? Okay, you can go." I'm like,
poor
what
writing.
the fuck?
That's why.
You know what I mean?
Poor
It just
writing.
and what's with the big beginning bits? It was like 20 minutes long, and it was dull. And he didn't kill the person that he was there meant to kill. None of it made any sense. Why didn't he kill her?
There you go. Time Profits still haven't seen. I wouldn't watch it, mate.
No Time to Kill. Clearly,
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it anyway.
The
Okay,
script
well,
didn't make any sense. That's why it doesn't work, and that's why it's the worst James Bond film ever made. Even
Yeah.
worse than Moonraker. At least Moonraker had common sense going all the way through it.
this was a hell of a plodder. Really,
It was, and it was boring, and the action was good, I've got to admit, but
Yeah.
the story doesn't make any sense at all. It really doesn't. As if a Saffron comes back to her and he goes, "You owe me a favor. I want you to kill somebody." It's like you would go, "Yeah, I'd kill someone for you." You wouldn't do it.
Clearly, what it needed was more conversations in corridors and
Yeah, exactly.
feeling-
Absolute
Okay,
shit. The film was absolute shit. It really
It was.
was. And what was the point of the black woman? If you took the black woman out of the film, it would have made no difference to the story whatsoever. None.
It was annoying.
Yeah.
So annoying.
Okay.
Crap.
Eric July. He finally got his comic out.
Nice
Oh.
one. That's it.
What you
3 million something, wasn't it? In
I
sales.
can't remember.
It was like 3.7 million.
Wow.
Who's the Barbie doll that he's fighting against there? What's going on there?
Anna de Armas, probably. I don't know.
Probably. She's Water
And-
Girl or something. What's going on there?
It's like plasma to me.
I wonder if anybody bought it in the UK other than As.
I haven't brought it. I'm waiting for my friend Roman to tell me if it's any good or not. Because it's not like I can go into Forbidden Planet and take a look at this and look through it before I buy it. So it looks good though.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Mm.
I've heard good stories, but
Matt,
I'm really
are
done
you
with superheroes at the moment. So,
Matt, are you a comics guy?
I am a professional comic artist and writer, so I am a huge comic.
Have you
guy.
bought this?
I haven't. I saw on his website that it's still for sale, or a certain cover, and I looked at the price and didn't realize that it was
What-
actually like a full 100-page book. So I would have bought it right then and there. I thought it was just a like 32-page one, but I will be. I'm a little nervous just because of not for anything, because of the reasoning behind the creation of it. I love all that. More of just like I was reading the description on the website, and on the campaign itself, and I was just a little.
Didn't
I was
grab
a
you,
little.
did it?
It not only didn't grab me, I was just. I don't know how else to say it. Of just it was a little. Even the description was a little amateurly written, and I
Okay.
figured that it would be a little. I mean, like if you're selling something, you'd I don't know, just write it a little better.
One
Yeah,
thing I
but
really like about this is how punk rock it is. You know, like completely buckling against, not buckling, but completely raging against the machine. And the guy funded this entirely by himself. Obviously,
He did. He
he
took
was
a risk. Yeah.
successful YouTuber, so he took that success and utilized it to do something against the mainstream and to show them that without all the politics and stuff, you can produce a product that can actually completely dismantle the notion that you have to be published by one of these main publishing companies in order to become successful.
Matt,
I think that's
I'm curious. You're a comic book artist and a comic book writer.
Yeah.
Wow. So who are your influences? Because I can tell you mine.
For writing, I loved when I was younger. I liked Brian Michael Bendis.
Oh, he's good.
Back in the I do like him. I think I don't like his work anymore. He never really evolved. Back in the day, his dialogue was brilliant, and it's never changed. And back then, it was so good because of the fact that it was true to the time. It was very realistic, but his dialogues never changed. The style and language has changed in the past 20 years. So, but I loved his darker work before he went to Marvel. My favorite comic artist of all time is Greg Capullo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love him. I was into his work on Spawn. I collected every single issue. I looked forward to it. And then I loved that he broke through and got the just dues that he deserved when he started doing Batman, which is also one of my. Yeah, it's also one of my favorite Batman runs ever. Was him and Scott Snyder's run on. When the New 52 broke, that was like the only good run of the New 52 was Batman.
Did you not think that comics changed when Frank Miller? Because I honestly think that when Frank Miller entered the world of the comic book, I think that's when everybody realized that it could change.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, go ahead.
I think that Frank Miller actually broke the mold because they were looking for someone that can take something and turn it into something new. So when Frank Miller came in and he dealt with Daredevil, that was the start of comics turning into something completely different. I recognize that fact now when I look back, especially when I was there, when I brought Born Again and the comics that he got involved with Daredevil, and he rewrote and redid the whole origin of Daredevil. I thought was amazing personally. But
the 80s work, like Todd McFarlane, as far as art goes, and Frank Miller, as far as writing goes, I feel really revolutionized comic books and gave them more credibility. Because when I was a kid, I was reading comics, and they were, I was always made fun of for being a comic book geek by adults and stuff. Like, hey, you're reading the funny books or whatever. But now they are, they're very well respected, really well respected.
Not as good as the Beano, though, is it?
No, obvious. Here you go, folks. Jacob, the mighty Jacob says, just looked it up. The ISOM campaign made $3.7 million.
Wow. Nice.
I think Time Prophet said, what does ISOM mean? Anybody know?
Don't know. Well, you've got to read the comic.
That's the name of the superhero, but I don't know what it's in reference to.
Yeah, nor do I.
Right, okay. So we'll just say, well done, Eric.
You know what? He looks like Willis from...
what you talking about, Willis?
Different Strokes, yeah. On the cover of that, with muscles.
Wow. The origin story
of Willis.
He
started off as a boy.
Okay, so we'll move on.
Who's this?
This is Blighty. It's 2022, folks, and people can't put the heating on or afford food. Can you believe it? So
Asda's.
Asda have
Yeah.
put on a meat. I can't believe this. I can't even believe we're doing this, but people are going to know this. A £1 meal deal for over 60s through November and December, because apparently the over 60s, especially single ones, there are a lot of single over 60s
Yeah.
who are going to be really fucking struggling.
But have you ever had food at Asda's? It's bloody awful. It's not worth £1 at all.
I think for £1, get this right. I think you
Zero
get
nutritional value.
yeah. I think the deal is right, and I did perk up at this actually.
It doesn't mean you have to go out in the cold in order to get your bloody meal.
Well,
Yeah.
the deal is a
Well, if you
soup.
can't leave your house,
Well, you're going to starve then, or
What's the deal?
freeze to death. It's a soup,
Mm.
a roll,
What?
wow,
and get this unlimited tea or coffee
wow.
for £1. You could just sit there and just get pie-eyed on caffeine.
So the
for
whole
£1
Asda cafe is
all
going
day.
to be filled with old men and women who just
drinking
not budding.
coffee.
They're going to stay there all day to the free coffee and tea.
Yeah, and going to the toilet every 5 minutes as well, that kind of thing. Did you hear about that guy that he booked a plane ticket to go somewhere, whatever, and he kept cancelling it. And the reason why he kept cancelling it was because he realized that when he booked his plane ticket, he got access to the food hall, because I think it's a special ticket that we got access to some really good food, and he just kept cancelling his thing so he can eat for free.
Oh,
He cancelled 30,
nice.
Wow.
30
Nice.
times
Right when
he
you find a
cancelled.
loophole like that, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
I will say the one thing I do like about America, Matt, is free refills.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, but
It's
They
just
they have
great.
that in Burger King now, don't they? You can, when you have Coke, you can just keep drinking and drinking, because they have machines, don't they? I don't know if you noticed that in Burger King, you keep drinking.
Yeah, the standard thing to do my whole life was, you drink as much as you can, and then right before you leave, you go up and just fill that cup back up.
Yeah.
Before you walk out the door.
And no ice, so you get more drink.
Of course.
A little bit of ice. You got to keep it cold for a little bit.
Mm.
Oh, well,
But those bloody straws, those paper straws, they all melt. They kind of get all squishy, don't they?
Nothing
Paper
funnier than
straws.
putting a paper straw into a plastic cup.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, isn't it?
yeah.
That's so stupid.
When Asda announced that, Asda started trending, so I think they kind of did something right.
Isn't Asda's owned by an American company?
Yeah, Walmart. Yeah.
Ah, there you go.
Okay.
Way to go, Americans.
Well done, Asda. Well done.
For some soup and drink as much coffee and tea as you want.
Yeah.
It'll be that gut stuff, though, wouldn't it?
This was a kind of big YouTube news this week, wasn't it? Is it right? I can't pronounce that.
Is it Rakita Law?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Who's he? She? Him? Her?
A legal channel that it talks pop culture and like the whole. It's funny how everyone seemed to report on the Amber Turd story and Johnny Depp story has been targeted mercilessly for all of that. And this is another example.
Apparently, Walmart was sold Asda to an Indian company.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently, this was a targeted kind of bot mass flag campaign, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what it takes. That's what happened to me on Twitter. Just a bunch of radicalized nitwits decided to pile on me because they've all got the protected status and pronouns in their bios.
They thems.
Obviously, they're the innocent people, and I'm the evil bigot. So it's the same here. But he's got his channel back, so well done.
Yeah, because apparently I think he had a couple of strikes on his channel, and it was just automatic shutdown. They just binned him.
Yeah,
they didn't even care why people mass flagged him.
Yeah, these corporations have absolutely no transparency to their rules. Some
But can't you
rules
take them to
apply
court?
to others, not to others. Well, I mean, yeah, but he'd be him against, a whole army of lawyers, wouldn't it? Because it would be YouTube, Google,
Well,
effectively.
he would be the man to do it, though. Matt, are you not kind of worried that your channel could just go on a heartbeat?
Oh yeah, I mean, when I saw this, it gave me pause because right before he got taken off, there were like he had been banned from Twitter too, and then he got back on. And I want to do this full time, and I was hoping to do it by the beginning of the year, and it really does because as far as I knew, he didn't really say anything that had that would have justified having him taken down. And I was thinking about like, well, yeah, all this stuff I say on these live streams, Jesus, what's going to happen to me?
These fuckers are so organized. That's the thing. They know how to game the system, and they do it en masse because they're like a swarm, aren't they? They know if you mass flag or mass report something, it raises a flag, and then they have this sort of power and they're willing to use it. But it's almost as like they have this kind of psychic ability amongst them. It's like one person goes, on the attack, but I smell blood, and then they
Yeah.
piranha just come.
Yeah, they're super shit hot on the social media stuff, aren't they?
And it's got to stop. Too much
Tim
power and
Hannibal,
lunatics.
right? I can't say it. Rakita. Rakita got lots of new subs.
That's right.
Unsurprising.
Yeah, they had even like I had a video that had been up for 6 months, and I suddenly I checked my YouTube studio and it had been suddenly demonetized, and I had no
Shit.
idea why. And it was the only video that had to do with any sort of criticism of well, I didn't even say the words in the video, but it was essentially criticizing like woke culture in movies. And that was the one video that got demonetized. And
how dare you, bigot, have an
I
opinion
know,
on
and
anything.
I contested it, and of course they give you zero reason why.
Mhm.
And that video was doing well, and then of course it's demonetized, and the views on it just plummeted to zero.
The algorithm gods came in and did their woo magic, and that was it.
Woo.
Well, yeah, but then YouTube apparently liked whatever money the Rings of Power video I did was giving them,
Motherfuckers,
so
aren't
I
they?
kept that one up.
This is the thing I don't understand. It's like they make it so difficult to get monetized in the first place. And I don't think advertisers particularly care whether adverts are shown as long as they're shown. And I think, the more people are monetizing YouTube, surely the more money YouTube makes. It just blows my mind.
Here you go, folks. Time Profit Sporking News has been demonetized as well. I think Z told me yesterday that Drunk 3PO has been demonetized as well.
Yeah,
really? Like his whole channel?
Yeah, Drunk 3PO, yeah, been demonetized.
Shit.
I've met him a couple of times. He's a nice chap. Shame.
Oh,
shame.
you went off to Florida, didn't you?
No, it was Dallas. Yeah, went off to
Dallas.
and met them all.
You
Very nice
schmoozer,
people.
you
I was on holiday anyway.
Bishop Moore, PayPal closing accounts down for talking anti-woke.
Yes, they are. They are. That's why I never operate on PayPal.
And you need to punish these corporations, And this is the thing when they call people fascist. This is what gets my goat. It's the same people who do that who are supported by corporations and the state, politicians and legislations and things like that. I mean, when you have the merger of state and corporation and backing you and silencing people, that is the definition of fascism. And I just find it absolutely remarkable that these people,
Matt,
everybody watch Starship Troopers, by the way.
Do you check your analytics on your channel?
Yeah, I think that's I pay attention to them a lot, and I think that's how I got my channel to take off.
Because I'm confused. Because on my channel, right, yesterday it said more people in the United Kingdom watches my channel, and today it's saying more people in the United States watch my channel. So what the fuck has changed?
It could be. I think a lot of times it's within the last 28 days, so it could have flipped. I'm not sure.
I don't understand what's going on.
My channel is very big in India.
Well, hey, hello, India.
Yeah, I'm confused. It's really hard to read some of this stuff. It says, things like you got 25 subscribers. I really don't know how to read any of this stuff, and I don't know how it can help me unless I know it like the back of my hand. But
Yeah,
I really
it can
don't know.
definitely help you, and having ADHD to get hyper focused on it can help too, like I have. So.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
Nice. Okay. So always a positive. Okay.
Always
so,
positive.
Okay. So we'll move on. Oh. Black Lives.
I'm sorry, you don't get a refund by being stupid, love. I'm sorry.
But it's she's saying that just to be relative. Again, right? Who gives a shit? She doesn't give a shit that she gave all that money. If she couldn't afford it, she would never have given it in the first place. So, what is the point of her saying all this shit? It's to get attention on her. I'm still alive. I'm still here. Everybody watch me. That's what it's all about.
No, she lost her job on the chat show by kind of
The View, right?
Yeah, saying stuff about kind of black people and stuff about all this.
Yeah.
Like it was all double standard and she got into trouble. So she had to kind of backtrack, apologize, and then they just sacked her.
She should never apologize, ever.
No.
But how many millions of dollars went to the BLM movement?
When they just basically
count their houses.
Big luxurious mansions.
Sorry, I said houses. Because they are small compared to mine, obviously. No, I'm joking. I
think people have just realized now that it was just a big scam of some very cynical people, or geniuses, should I say, who took advantage.
Marxists playing off of the fear of being called a racist, and basically it's such an insidious organization, and it's interesting how they use things and slogans that nobody disagrees with, but they make it that if you don't agree with the organization, the fact that it's run by these radical Marxists, then you're against the message. I mean, that's not the case. So it's a very clever use of propaganda. Ultimately, it's
here you go, Franco Walker, double standards again, and then MC, sheer double standards. I'll say sheer double fucking standards.
She's had some more plastic surgery done to her face, hasn't she?
That's why she needs the extra cash.
Yeah. The guy on the left is Kanye West.
Right.
And he brought a line of T-shirts out. So
I thought you were going to say a line of Coke.
And
white powder matters.
I'm not a fan of Kanye West. I just think he's a bit.
Who's he married to again? He's married
to music.
No one right now.
Oh, okay.
He was married to Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
That's the girl. Yeah.
But in a moment of genius, white lives matter, and he put on his he said everybody knows that Black Lives Matter was a scam. Now it's over, you're welcome, he wrote on his Instagram story. So he's brought these White Lives Matter t-shirt up. And the reason why I kind of mentioned this is because I got the brunt end of this when it was ongoing a couple of years ago. On Facebook, I when all this kind of Black Lives Matters and all that stuff, I naively put down on one of the Facebook pages where all people I used to work with, I said, well, don't all lives matter?
Oh, the cardinal sin. Oh my God.
I got fucking piled on by all these people I used to work with who were the most fucking privileged of all, right? Younger than me, privileged, saying I need to check my privilege. This was while I was unemployed. Yeah, this was while I'd lost my job and all this stuff with COVID. I had to check my privilege. And these were from people who had gone to university, fucked it up because they were just there for the happy time, and their mummy and daddy bailed them out.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to check your privilege. Yeah. by these little.
Yeah, I'll take my
cunts.
privilege when I'm deciding whether or not to put one bar on or two. You know.
Yeah.
You know what? Right, every black person knew Black Lives Matter was a load of bollocks.
They did.
All the ones with the brains, they knew it was all a scam and stuff like that. They all knew it.
Because
It's
they're
just
not stupid, you know,
yeah.
and it's implying that everyone just thinks the same. And you know, if you know, it's this whole collectivist mentality. It's just so unintellectual. It's anti-intellectual, and I think it's incredibly insulting to anyone. It's like the whole LGBTQ plus thing. For me, I find that incredibly insulting, especially who the fuck are the Q? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that's something I used to be called when I was younger, and it was usually followed by a quick boot in the face and spat. You know, and now it's some great person's identity. You know, because they wear nail polish and their mother's knickers. I don't care. You know, it's all bullshit, and I just find the whole thing incredibly insulting to assume that everyone thinks alike. You know,
Romeo. Bet Kanye got some big orders from the. And Russia.
Oh my God.
Genius finding untapped markets. Well done, sir. I am quite tempted to buy one of them t-shirts myself.
It's funny because when people get power, right, and if people, it depends what kind of people they are. They were like pressed upon throughout centuries, but when they get power, they seem to want to do exactly the same thing as the people that were pressing upon them in the first place.
That's
Which makes no sense. What?
That's the rub, is the fact that like just you know, if you're oppressed, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily a good person. It just means you don't have power. That's all.
Yeah, but if, to say that you're oppressed just because of the very dint of the color of your skin or the what's between your legs or who you sleep with, and then you go out and oppress others, how is that justice? You know, 'cause this is just another form of oppression, whichever way you look at it. And and as for this White Lives Matter thing, I just leave it now. You know, just bury it because it's not even funny anymore. I'm just sick of it. We just don't need it anymore.
It's like with everything, isn't it? It's like the women power, that they we want to be equal to men, but that's not what they're doing. They're tearing down being a man, literally tearing it down. So what's the point? Don't you want the world to get better, or do you want to just copy what the lunatics did in the past? You know, because they did it to you. Do you know what I mean?
The role models that women have now, they're behaving like men. Is femininity such a bad thing? Like, why is there no power or agency in femininity? Surely there is, because I couldn't do what they do half the time. I couldn't give birth, even if I wanted to. But I mean, if I had the ability to, I mean, that would be bloody painful, right?
As
like
Jordan Peterson said, he said, men have built the world. They're the people in the drains, cleaning out the drains. They're the people high up,
getting the oil out,
building and everything. So women, these stupid LGBT, have respect for them because they are the ones that built the world and continuing to build the world. Do you know what I mean? To do this, to say all that stuff about being masculinity and being a man is absolute bollocks, because you need them. You need them in the world. And that is so true.
Black Lives Matter made about $90 million in
that was in my pocket.
That was a couple of years ago. Yeah, that was off the George Floyd thing, wasn't it? So
I know. It's,
$90 million.
He was no angel, though, was he?
Never let a good crisis go to waste.
And they all bought big fucking mansions. Anyway, okay.
Justice. Yeah. Apparently.
Again, I'd like to say this one more time. I would definitely. She's so gorgeous there. Lovely there.
J.K. Rowling, folks. She's been giving it some this week.
I would just like to say
Nicola Sturgeon.
For women's Scotland, we shit. Yeah, it's funny. I seem to have been targeted on Twitter more virulently before I got permanently suspended, only after J.K. Rowling followed me back after I tagged her in a post. So yeah, it's funny how that worked. But yeah, absolutely, I stand with women who want to protect themselves from men parading as women and wearing woman face. Same with lesbians being targeted by these activists who basically want to get into the knickers, what's called the cotton ceiling. That there is a gay male equivalent where trans men are trying to get into men's knickers, so to speak, called the boxer ceiling. And if you actually look those things up, there are actual there's an actual site with all these lists of tweets that have been made by activists, declaring gay men or cis gay men or trash, they should all die, all this kind of stuff. And the same with lesbians. It's awful. I mean, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of examples. And yeah, and you talk about hate speech and all this. It's an ongoing battle, and it's been won. I'm thankful to say.
You know the story behind this, don't you, Probby? Would you like to explain, just for the people who are not up to speed?
Well, I think
Nicholas Sturgeon, wasn't it, passing law?
Yeah, the Scottish Parliament are passing or trying to pass through this self-ID law, which effectively means that anyone who says they're a woman is a woman, anyone who says there is a man is a man. This is undermining sex-based rights, which are long, hard-fought-for rights for women and for gays and lesbians who are same-sex attracted, not same gender attracted, because gender is meaningless under any law.
Yeah.
It's sex-based rights, so it's undermining every value, and this undermines safeguards for women and for children, and for gay and lesbian people and straight people. And I think
hold on. How is this law going to be passed if it makes no logical sense? As far as I understand about the law, a law can only be created if it makes logical sense. Now, to say that a man can have a baby is not logical sense, because we all know that men can't have children. Mm-hmm. And the same thing that you were mentioned just now, Lee, that in logic, it doesn't make any sense. So how could this law be passed?
Because Scotland is absolutely captured by the radicals. And it's surprising to me, Scotland. You think Scotland, Iron Brew, fucking
it's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah,
and it's just like completely upside down.
Because of this person, Sturgeon, she's just fucking poison.
Nicola Sturgeon, yeah. I still think she's Jimmy Cranky in disguise. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's an absolute shambles of justice. It's untenable. I mean, because gender is effectively anything gender-based is based on stereotypes. So you get trans women who say that they're women because they wear the most feminine clothes and have the best plastic surgery they can get. And
JK has
the fey voice and the femininity, and it's all. It's to me, I think it's justifying and normalizing effectively fetish, and it goes against, as I said, lesbians have said many times that they've been pressured into having sex with female penises because they're lesbians too. So you see, it bleeds, it removes all these barriers. And again, and a lot of these, what they call trans-exclusionary radical feminists, or TERFs, which is supposed to be is now adopted as a term of empowerment now by these.
Well, do you know what, right? As long as it doesn't grab hold of the, the majority of America, once it does, if it does
this is Scotland.
No, Scotland. I'm just saying this wave of nonsense.
You don't need the majority, because if you look at
if it does, then we're in trouble.
If you look at all revolutions, you look at the rise of the bad people in Germany in the 1930s. It only takes about 8% of the population for that to happen, right? So that's quite a small number, but then the rest fall in place out of fear.
This is deep, folks.
This is facts. You can look it up.
Yeah, deep.
And you have to stand guarded against it. This has gone on for a number of years through academia, and it bled out through all the institutions. Like you've heard long, slow march through the institutions. That's been a saying for a long time, but no one really thought about it so much. Everyone thought, oh yeah, those sort of lefty academics. This is the postmodernist bad ideas from 60s French philosophy. What's his face? The historian who got cancelled. He said, I can't remember his name. He said that all bad ideas come from France.
Really? Well, as I said, I just hope it doesn't get any worse. I hope it just doesn't get any worse, because it's really becoming.
It's collapsing under its own absurdity. The Mermaids, which is supposedly is a charity. It was been given charity status, but I think maybe not for much longer. But it's basically a pressure group for trans children. They call it trans no such thing. But anyway, they've been, along with Stonewall, who's also adopted this woke nonsense, has attacked the new kid on block, which is the LGBT Alliance, which is the lesbian, gay, and bisexual alliance, which stands against gender politics and the whole trans thing. And it's been going through a tribunal, and it's been going on for a while. It's still ongoing. But the more mermaids put across their case, the worse they look. And it's now come out that one of their funders, one of their what do you call it, when they're in charge of the money, whatever, one of their executive types, has some dubious academic past about children and sexuality. So that's coming out. That's been a bit of a bomb through all of this. So it's not looking good for
allegedly
the gender loonies. So yeah.
Not Brian in the chats. Scottish government wants to introduce misogyny laws where men are punished more severely for crimes against women, but they also pro self-ID. So if you want to, basically, if you want a more lenient punishment, ID as a woman. I think some people tried it, didn't they, in Scotland?
Yeah, women in prison. There is an increasing number of women in prison who are finding themselves pregnant.
Yes,
through being raped by trans-identifying people.
But they were going on about how these producers and directors in Hollywood, would take advantage of women and stuff like that. All I have to say is Olivia Wilde. That's all I have to say. And how is it all right for her to do what she did?
Double standards, mate. That's what it's called.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Okay, I think we just got a little bit deep there, but we'll move on.
Well, at least people are sort of, au fait now with.
I was drowning. It was so deep.
And finally, the channel's over. It's finished. I think probably just killed it after all that. Okay, so we'll move on.
You're welcome.
Glad
Good
to be here
back,
at the end.
It was short but sweet, Probby. Cheers, pal.
You asked.
Okay. I saw this.
Brilliant.
A crocheted. It wasn't knitted. It was crocheted.
Wow.
Oh,
How fucking good is that?
Work. That's
fucking
amazing.
shit hot is that?
That's a lot of work.
I'd wear that, wouldn't you?
That's for Halloween, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
How fantastic is that?
That's so great.
I saw one where it was like a low loader from Aliens, where this kid got into it. So obviously his father was in it, and when he pressed the switch, he'd walk around in it.
Fantastic.
It was quite good, actually. Yeah, there's some really good costumes out there for kids.
So I assume that's glow in the dark wool as well.
It looks like it, yes. God, I bet that's
it does.
amazing.
I wonder how much is she had a pattern for that, or she made the pattern herself?
Don't know.
They could
I
sell
assume
that.
it's
And
a
make
woman who
they
crocheted.
could sell that, and wow.
That's incredible. And look at the work that's gone into that. That is the happiest kid on the planet right now.
yep.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Fantastic.
I think I could wear that. Max, would you be Halloween? Would you wear that?
I would, but I'm already going to go as Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, are you?
I have my impression down. And
Haven't they
everything
been-
already, so-
Haven't the weirdos on Twitter been going, he's fit or something like that? Because it's funny how they say he should be LGBTQ plus on Netflix, but wow, he's hot. You know, it's really weird. Really weird. I got through the first 3 episodes and I had to stop for a few days, and I got to the 4th episode, and that's probably the worst one.
It's
So
very
far.
disturbing.
I had to stop after that one.
Which program is this? Sorry, I didn't quite catch
Dharma.
It's on
Dharma.
Netflix.
Yeah,
it. All right, okay.
I was going to say, if I remember somebody said to me at last moment, they said, "Are you coming to the Halloween party?" They had no costumes. I just put on my suit, and I was a Reservoir Dog. That was that.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the cheapest Halloween suit you can get. So there you go.
Race swapped,
No,
obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
She had gone as a ginger woman.
Ahead
Yeah, I
of the
could have.
curve. Did you go as Mr. White?
Yeah. No, I was going to put blood on the shirt, but I went against it. I could either be a Reservoir Dog or one of the Men in Black. See, it's very versatile.
Men in White, mate. Men in White.
You know how all ginger-haired women are race swapped, right?
Yeah.
Someone pointed out
I
this.
don't get that.
It stuck in my head, and I feel awful about it. But it's like, well, if you look at the anagram of ginger, that might explain it.
Go
What is
on.
the anagram ginger?
You have to work that out.
Okay, MC in the chat. Dharma is dark, and I love dark stuff. Even I had to take a few breaks watching it. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
it really
first
is.
episode. Sorry, Matt.
I was gonna say maybe it's just because I grew up watching horror, but I just binged it. I didn't even think it was really like diving into his psyche. Yes, he has a dark psyche, but I didn't really think that it was like that dark or disturbing of a show. I just found it
more the
fascinating.
fact- it's more the fact that this was based on a real story. This is how it happened, and apparently it's quite accurate from what I've heard. So
Was that how he was caught as well? It wasn't like a movie way of being caught, was it? It was just, the way they caught him was crazy.
that first episode,
He was so casual with it.
He was. Yeah.
It was so intense, so intense.
He just kept like, "Oh, it
Camping
smelled really
is
bad.
intense.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
it's meat that's gone
my
off.
tropical fish died." So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when he goes, I just want you to watch. Just want to watch TV with you. Do you know what I mean? Just sitting there with the blood on the mattress and stuff. It's like, no.
That was hard work. That was.
Yeah, it was. The first episode I found really disturbing. I really felt sorry.
I was my heart was pounding. Like, get out of there, get out of there. Go on.
Are you guys over there as obsessed with crime and like serial killers as we are over here in America?
I think so. I think that's pretty much
Yeah,
it.
because I just feel like I was so desensitized once I started watching it. I was more just engulfed by the acting performance.
We don't do it as well as do Americans, though. You like your serial killers bigger and better than ours,
Wow, everything's gonna be bigger and better over here.
That's the American way.
They had Dharma, and then they had what's the one that David Tennant played over here?
Dennis Nielsen.
Dennis. Then they had Dennis. If you compare them both, Dharma did far more horrible things that Dennis Nielsen did.
Well, we do have a track record of some pretty gruesome ones.
Yeah,
We do.
I've watched a couple documentary series about serial killers over in your neck of the woods, and there's some pretty horrific shit over there.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
Definitely.
Psychos will psycho, no matter where they are, I suppose.
Who's the guy? He was the guy at 10 Riddleton Place. He killed all those women.
I watched that recently. Yeah, Riddington Road.
Yeah. He stuck them in the walls, didn't he, and wallpapered over them.
Yeah. I remember watching the series, but then I watched the original film with John Hurt.
John Hurt, it's a great film. That one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have the greatest of all time of serial killers, though. You got
Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper.
You guys have the originator, the goat.
Yeah.
Okay, perhaps we'll come back one day and discuss all these serial killers in a light and happy stream, just for the family. Okay, so I think that's it. Please consider donating to the channel, especially it's my birthday. Links in description, pin message, all that stuff. Get your cash out, help the channel. Go on, you want
Happy
to.
birthday. Is it today?
It's on Friday. This
Oh,
Friday
okay.
coming up.
Friday, okay. Are you
Uh,
gonna have a birthday stream? Are you?
I think so. I think so.
Okay.
Possibly doing Starship Troopers. That's the homework, everybody. Starship Troopers. You've got the link. There's no excuse. So, yes, I think that is it. Yes, rest in
Thanks,
peace,
Bridget.
Mr. Bond.
BJ
Okay.
Moore. That's very kind.
Bidgets. The
Bidget.
wonderful Bidgets.
Bit-
There you go.
Big
It is
more.
great to have Probby back on. Genuinely great to have him back on.
Yeah, sorry, I went all off the deep. But I thought, hey, better to
Fuck
let
it. Why
people know
not?
what's going on.
He
Okay,
went off the deep end.
It did. It did. So, chat. I'm going to say it's always the same faces, a few lurkers as well. I know we had the drinker on. I think we had very, very steady numbers considering. So,
Great to all our friends in India. There you go.
yes. So, chat, as I always say, we are genuinely nothing without you guys. We'd just be talking shit to ourselves. So, thank
I
you.
thought that's what we were doing.
We do. We do. Okay. So I will thank the guests. First of all, the wonderful Matt, movie cynic. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you for having me on.
Genuinely great to have you on, mate. Mega Geek, Mr.
Mm.
Ian David Diaz. Cheers,
No.
buddy.
No worries, mate. No worries.
And she's been to the ball. Here she is, the queen of the ball. The wonderful problem being.
Why, thank you so much. And thank you, MC. That's nice. Thank you. It's good to be back.
Hopefully we're going to be doing Rogue One Wednesday. We said that last week, but it never happened. It's because Ruin got man flu, so that was off. So we're going to try and pop up at some point this week. We've got we're going to do She-Hulk. I'll do episode 6, so we'll probably do that. Friday we'll try and do something for my birthday. I wished I was 40 time probably, but
we all.
yeah, I think that's it. Have a great week, everybody. We will appear somewhere, so I'll put it on the community page once I know what I'm doing. So I think that is it. Take care, everybody. Have a great week.
See ya. Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. See ya. Bye.